Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Chimmel, the GOAT of ring announcers. And you're listening to the Marks Podcast on YouTube.
That hurt. Fuck my life.
What a way to open.
Yep. Do I want to speak about something, though? Because we just had Tony. And you know what? I'm always going to be grateful that Tony did that for us. Wonderful human being. He's a saint for having to put up with you for 20 years. But Crown Jewel just ended, and we're doing a show today early because, well, next week we won't be able to. I won't be in town. We missed last week. It's been a crazy couple weeks, right?
Yep.
What'd you think of the show?
It had its flow, and I'll put it like this. For everything bad about WrestlePalooza, tonight was an exact opposite of WrestlePalooza.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think the crowd made that happen, or do you think it was the in-ring?
The in-ring storytelling. And the key words, in-ring storytelling, I think was a lot better than WrestlePalooza was.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, for anybody who's ever knocked John Cena's in-ring ability.
Oh, what a match.
Listen, and that's why I put to you during it, I said, if they end it with a leg drop, that's what I thought they were going to end it with a leg drop.
So ultimately, when I saw the Bray Wyatt spot, I got a little teary-eyed because Bray Wyatt's my guy, you know that.
And by the way, I did not to break into. I know you must be heartbroken about the news that came out with Raven this week too.
What happened with Raven?
Onset Parkinson's disease.
Oh man,
I thought you. Sorry,
I didn't. Damn.
Yep.
He's
he started. He come out and said the onset of Parkinson. He's starting to feel the tremblers and stuff like that. So.
Another great mind who was squandered, I feel, by so many. A brilliant fucking character. It's a damn shame. My prayers, everybody's prayers should go out to Raven, Scott Levy. WWE just released the history of Raven in WCW. I was watching that, and it goes back to the day he arrived in WCW was my birthday in 1996.
Wow.
And I remember seeing this dude, and he just looked cool as shit. And it was because of that I started asking friends at school who knew about ECW, knew about him, started getting tapes of Raven from back then. Because that's all you could do back then is tape trade. He was up there where you're in your area in the New York, Massachusetts. Yeah. We got kicked out of Bubba Ray Dudley.
But I will say this, okay? What we saw tonight, like I said, this morning, is the best. And when it's done right, what you saw today is when it's done right.
Well, let's talk about the first match. You got Roman Reigns against Bronson Reed.
Let's just put it like this: the man from Australia got booed out of the building. Let's just put it right there to start it. He gets booed out of the building to start the thing. Okay. Yep. Very good match in my eyes.
Yeah.
Until the outside interference got into play.
But it wasn't outside interference. Remember, this is an Australian street fight.
I know. I'm just saying to have that match, if you could have had that match without anything else getting involved and Bronson goes over cleanly, I think it would have meant more.
I do too, but Bronson is not to that caliber yet that he's going to go over clean on Roman. And I do want to bring something up about that entrance. No one can deny that Roman is the top guy in that company. Roman is the man right now.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I just had furniture delivered to my house. So
gotcha.
But again, I don't think he's even touched on any kind of level right now. And by him not being touched on any kind of level, when it comes to his entrance, when it comes to
but that's the thing. It's not just an entrance. Okay, so we can argue that.
No, what I'm saying is the passion of the crowd when he walks through that curtain. When he comes out,
I'm curious how it's going to play out because technically he's He's still a heel. He hasn't changed anything.
Did you hear what he said after the match
What?
to Jimmy and Jay?
Yeah.
He said, "I'll see you at Christmas." Do you believe that?
He'll be in the War Games.
And I'm saying is though the way he gets into the mind and the way they made sure the camera got that, the way so that would it.
But I'm going back to SmackDown where he basically said, "What's wrong with my advice?" I'm sorry, Raw.
But let's go back into the match. Let's get to the match. So and by looking at the match between him and Bronson, I thought was very well played out.
Yeah.
Like I say. And then you had one guy come in and take away arguably what people consider one of the top 5 tag teams of all time. One guy destroys one of the top 5 tag teams of all time.
But you're building Braun.
And I understand it. But what you're saying is,
and they're not right now. They're not the top tag team right now. They're in. They're at a level of delusion and they're not functioning as a tag team right now. They're functioning as a fractured group because Jimmy wants main event. Jey Uso wants this, and Jimmy is just not as Roman put it in his way. So,
well, would you put it like this though? Let me ask you this though. Unlike a lot of tag teams, they've been tag teams their whole life.
Yeah, they came out the womb fighting.
So, in any family, you're always going to have the fighting and stuff like that. But I just thought the way they have it done and stuff like that, to where you have them get involved, you have them touching everybody, you have them touch Bronson. Now, if they never have them touch Bronson and stuff like that, now we got a different angle here. If you understand what I'm saying, if it was just them coming down and getting Braun Breaker out of the equation and never touching Bronson, we don't have a thing here. But Bronson getting touched by the Usos to try and help win. And listen, Roman taking the spear from Jay. I don't know if Roman could have given that spear any better.
Jay's made it his own. I mean, granted, that's Roman's pop. I'm sorry, Roman. If you're talking about spears right now, he's got a hell of a spear. But I think we're leading up to ultimately what's going to happen is the world heavyweight title is going to be on the line, right? It's going to be the world heavyweight title. The question is who's going to be holding that title, because Roman can't stay out of the title picture forever, and Jay's going to want that belt. So they're on a collision course.
You know what the sad part is? And it happened last night. Those 4 monsters that came back last night.
Well, hold on. We'll get to that when we get there.
I'm just saying, you talk about a family and dysfunction? Oh.
See, you may not know this, but that's paint they were wearing on their faces. That is indicative of what we call the GOD. Gorillas of Destiny.
Okay.
I don't mean like apes. I mean like gorilla. I mean like guerrilla warfare.
Oh, yeah.
Because in New Japan,
I've seen the movie Dead Presidents.
it's like that, but not so much. It's
right.
Okay. So if you looked at their work in New Japan, which we'll get to that in a bit, but we'll talk about it in a second. So I think the right guy went over. Because you cannot have Roman just destroying these guys by himself over and over and over again. I think the money match is going to be him against Braun. I think that at some point he's going to have to beat Braun Breaker, or Braun Breaker is going to have to beat him to get to that next level. How you do that, I don't know, but that's where it's going to be.
I'll give you how you get there. The guy you have in the corner. That's how you get there. Paul will write the story for the people to understand it.
You know what? I'm going to throw a curveball at you. What if it's not Roman that gets him over?
Who gets Braun Breaker over?
Yeah. What if it's Brock?
Here's the other one. What if it's Seth?
I think that's your ultimate. That's your ultimate end game when you want him to get the title. But I think to prove that Braun Breaker is a legitimate fucking main event player, you got to give him somebody. You got to give him something.
Here's the problem with that, and I hope you understand when I say this. What if you do that and Braun falls flat? You get one shot at it. You get one shot at him looking better than Brock. And
yes.
If he doesn't do it the first time,
you know better than anybody else that Brock Lesnar can bump. If he likes you, he'll bump his
No,
fucking
what I mean
ass.
by that is, though, he can bump as much as he wants. But Braun Breaker has to make it look good. Because if he falls flat on his face, and I'll give you the perfect example. The past couple of days on the internet, who are they attacking right now? Jade Cargill. A lot of people are attacking her because of her wrestling ability.
Yeah.
I went back and I said the one thing I said, listen, if somebody gave me an object, somebody said, hey, I need you to build me the perfect wrestler. I said, okay, I can start with Jade Cargill. She has the looks, the height, the strength. Boom. Her biggest problem was she was trained wrong from the get-go, and that's all she knows how to go back to try and get her to do it correctly.
Okay, so in a position I am, I ask.
Not everybody's Kurt Angle.
No, I get that. So this is what I agree with you. Please don't think I don't. The position I'm in, I have to tell guys and gals when they come in, I know that you've done this type of business for X amount of years. I'm going to ask you to do the hardest thing I'll ever ask you to do, which is forget everything you know. Mm-hmm. I don't want you to know your style. I want you to learn my style. And once you learn my style of doing things, then you can implement some of that old stuff. But until you understand and perfect the style, I'm going to train you. And to translate that to wrestling, look, WWE is not the same as anywhere else. From camera placement, from how they call spots, from how they do everything else, it's not the same business. Very few people legitimately come in there and pick it up. Perfect example is someone that wrestled tonight, AJ Styles, who took what he knew before and was able to implement that and make it better.
I'm going to put it like this. So we have a saying at my work, and the saying is, we don't pay you to think.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Very, very good point.
Not personal, it's just business.
Right, exactly. We pay you to do it our way. Okay. My problem is this. When it comes to a certain people, there's only so much you can train the donkey.
What do you mean, you people?
No, there's only so much you can train the donkey to do if the donkey's already been trained another way. To try and tell it now, oh no, we got to untrain everything you ever known and try and get to it. And I'll put it like this. Our second match.
Yeah.
Somebody who came in not knowing anything about the English way of doing it. I think she's caught on pretty well.
Yeah.
15 months, she has caught on pretty well.
Well, and if you look back, she wasn't supposed to be the big deal. They didn't make fanfare about her. They made it all about Julia.
Do you think Tony is kicking himself in the ass?
Oh, God, he has to be.
He had her for one night. He had her. And one night he had her.
But again, how do again, they had Steve Austin. WCW had Steve Austin, and look what he became. It's a matter of circumstance.
The guy in black boots and black trunks would never amount to anything in the business. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't they turn around and reinvent the guy? Oh, all they do was put a little bit of white stripe around him.
No, hold on. Hear this. Think about this. But if that didn't happen to him in WCW, do we think we get Stone Cold Steve Austin?
You don't get Stone Cold if you don't get him in ECW.
No, well, not just that, but the way he got. Okay, so if you go back, and I was watching an old interview with Eric Bischoff, and Austin has confirmed this. So Eric wasn't blowing smoke out of his ass. You know me, I'm a fucking historian. I go back and I watch all this shit. Bischoff said he didn't want to fire Steve. He said in the beginning, he offered him to come up to Atlanta because Steve was living about 30 minutes from where they were doing stuff. And they said, come and cut promos. We'll just have you come and cut promos, similar to what Heyman said. And Jeannie, his wife at the time, also formerly known as Lady Blossom in World Class, basically said, Steve, they want you to do this. And whoever called heard Steve Austin said, fuck them, I ain't going down there and kiss my ass. And so Eric Bischoff, being a boss at the time, you can't stand for that. And I get that now more than ever, being in a supervisor's role. You can't let someone disrespect you as in a position you're in, because if other people see that you allow that, well, you have a mutiny on your hands. And, back then with those guaranteed contracts, they had to do something. They can't let these guys look in the Bill Watts era. Bill Watts was finding these guys and trying to get some sense of order out of them. But, you're getting paid guaranteed money, whatever your place is on the card, which, again, you and I have talked about it. Are guaranteed contracts the best thing? But, again, I digress. Let me get back to the point. So we fired him. So then here comes Paulie, comes out and says, "Hey, I'll let you cut interviews up here. I know your arm's hurt." He had to get some money. He went up to ECW, and we get some of the greatest promos of all time because he was legitimately pissed off. You don't get that when he goes to WWE. You get the fucking ringmaster, which was, "This is my ring."
Well, look at it like this, and Vince's. We said it before about Vince. Not everything is a home run. And all, and I mean, you know what? Never mind.
Vince even admitted he had never seen his ECW stuff. He thought he was what was his words? He said he was a good utility guy, and that's all he hired him for.
We can say it about every profession. Not every profession does everybody work out who people hire. Not every one of them. Okay.
No.
The great thing sometimes about WWE is, okay, this character doesn't work for you. Let's try this one. A la Cena. We'll go that in a second. It takes sometimes a little bit of a kick to say, hey, this doesn't work for you. And if talent agrees it doesn't work, what can we do? Because we can see there's potential there. But we got to do something.
Well, I think ultimately the breakout moment was, you lose his DiBiase as his mouthpiece because DiBiase is going to WCW.
Mm-hmm.
So he's there. The everything happens with the curtain call. So Triple H isn't going to win the King of the Ring. He cuts that promo that changed his life. You sit here and thump your Bible and you say your prayers. It didn't get you anywhere. Talk about your Psalms. Talk about your John 3:16, and those words right there. Austin 3:16 says, "I just whooped your ass."
If the next night the crowd's blank, do we have Stone Cold Steve Austin, or the next night when all those signs, when they showed up in the building and everybody had Austin 3:16 signs, take away that, we don't have Steve Austin.
You're right, but I'll tell you this: something was already happening. My dad, and I just talked to Trips about this the other day. I was a kid, I didn't look at wrestling as I do now. But as a kid, I didn't like Stone Cold. I liked Bret Hart. I liked the flashy colors. He's the hitman, And I remember, I'll never forget it. We're sitting there watching Survivor Series and watching the previews and the promos up to it. And it was whenever Austin said, "If you put a S in front of Hitman, you'll have my exact opinion of Bret the Hitman Hart." And he was so pissed off and angry, and he was the everyman. He was that blue-collar guy who could never catch a break, and he spoke to a generation of men who punched a time clock, who grabbed a pail, and went to work every day. And my father...
Everybody wishes they could do to their employer.
But before he got to the Vince stuff, he was telling Bret Hart, the established guy, "I've been doing this for 12 damn years. Fuck you," or whatever, 9 years, whatever. "Fuck you. I don't give a shit who you are, shit man. I'm coming over here for your piece of your ass." And when he had that match, I remember watching with my dad, and I wanted Steve Austin to lose because he's an asshole in my opinion as a kid. But
and he did.
Dad, yes, because he held on to the $1 million dream too long. But
Bret just rolled him up.
Yeah.
You know what the thing about that is, and you'll understand this because it blends into today. Every match, okay, was simplification.
Yes, today, absolutely today. So and that's what I'm getting at. And I know this is a long-winded way of getting to it. When Austin won that match, right? And we're getting back to Steph W. I promise. But when Austin won that match, my dad goes, "That's my guy." All the way at Survivor Series, that's my guy. My dad knew that was the guy he was going to start rooting for. When the Royal Rumble came around, this and that, he wasn't supposed to be the guy. No. He was supposed to be a heel. So watching how Julia was supposed to go over and be this big star because she's flashy, she's that Bret Hart style character with all the glitz and glamour and the colorfulness. Stephanie Vicaire comes out there with a fucking velvet fucking corset looking thing. Her butt cheeks are out, whatever, but she's a very simplistic wrestler. She doesn't do a lot of high flying, but she goes out there and she literally whoops someone's ass. Her moves.
Finisher today, the finisher.
Yeah.
Would you say women in general shouldn't be doing that kind of finisher just because I'm surprised her body, her body doesn't get broken on a finish like that.
You talking about the spiral tap?
No, the spinner thing she does off the top rope. Her finisher today.
Yeah, it's a spiral tap.
Oh, it's called fine. Okay.
Well, it's AJ Styles' old move.
Okay.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because she doesn't pull it. Okay. Let me rewind that.
I will say one thing before you go on that. I'm just gonna say to Wade Barrett, when she did the move to Tiffany Stratton, and Wade Barrett, so I had to close my eyes because the last time the devil's kiss.
So Brock Lesnar did the shooting star press back when he was in OVW. Brock Lesnar can do that move. He's that athletic. He cannot reach halfway across the ring to do it.
Oh, it almost broke his neck.
I need to clarify something. Brock Lesnar can absolutely have done that move. He tried to overshoot it, and that was his fault. That was the only. So anybody who says that Brock Lesnar has no business off the top rope, go fuck yourself. You're wrong. The man is athletic as shit. He's a freak of nature. Okay. He's basically, though, even in the beginning of his career, was a ground-based wrestler. He was a technician. He used suplexes. He used a lot of in-ring groundwork, not much on the high flyer. Stephanie Vaquer is the same. She's a very grounded wrestler with submissions and base grappling holds. So
Did that match hurt Tiffany Stratton today?
No, but Tiffany's time is coming. And if anything, I think they were hoping that Jade was going to be the woman to take it from her, but I don't think it is. I think they need to stop with the bullshit, get Julia away from what's her name, in my opinion, get Road Dogg off the creative team and put her in a position where she can shine. Because I'm telling you right now, Julia is basically the next version of Asuka. If you've ever seen her in Japan, the woman is a beast. And the fact that they're doing her a disservice by putting her with some, well, and I can't also blame her, but I have to blame Julia herself because she's refusing to learn how to communicate properly, where others have, But
that's the only thing. When I'm looking at that, I'm like, it almost looked like Stephanie had to slow down for Tiffany to keep up.
I agree. I agree because Stephanie's look, but don't take anything away from Stephanie. I mean, I'm sorry, from Tiffany, because Tiffany hasn't been in the business but a cup of coffee. Let's call it like it is.
Well, wait a minute, hold on, but they've both been in WWE just as long with each other.
I agree. I understand that.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, for what she had to do today.
Yeah.
Okay. For what she had to do, they both got it done. But, for the first two matches I was glad the first two were on before.
Waiting on you, Cubic. Whenever you're ready, let us know. I disagree at Universal. Just going to put it out there.
The John Cena, AJ Styles.
Well, hold on. Before we get to that, I do want to say this. I give Tiffany a little more lenience because, again, she was a gymnast and she's been, for what she's accomplished in a short amount of time, has been excellent. But in the same time, moments like this where she's in with somebody like a Stephanie who's been doing this since she was a teenager, maybe not in WWE, but she's been honing her craft since she was a teenager.
Well, when somebody tells me, and like when you keep hearing Tiffany Stratton has this ability because of gymnast and stuff like that, then all the moves and stuff like that, she should be doing everything, But
but you're biased because you see someone like Sol Ruka, who is a gymnast, who came into this as her second thing, and she's fucking amazing.
What I say about that is like this: I welcome all kinds of athletes, and if you can turn, like I said, when I was talking to that other thing, and I said, Kurt Angle picked this up like fish do to water. You could take 20,000 people, put them in a building. If you get 5 people out of that 20,000 to perform, you've had a good day.
Well, no, and I agree with you. It goes back to what Taz said about when they did the ECW dojo. He had hundreds and thousands of applicants, and maybe 5 graduated from the House of Hardcore.
And that's the thing is, how many people get drafted for the NFL? 256 a year. Out of that 256, the last guy is called what? Mr. Irrelevant. Because why? That person to last through training camp almost never happens. But speaking of a guy who lasted through training camp with OVW, then he came in. We talked about it earlier about how he had a bad gimmick to start with.
Yeah.
And somebody just happened.
This match was strictly fan service. And, you know, if it was his idea or whoever's idea, what he did for
Whoever wrote the match.
Well, no, I'm talking about if he wrote the fucking entrance for
yes.
fucking AJ, that was a class move to call him the personification of total non-stop action, to call him the undisputed leader and boss of the Bullet Club. Like, all of that was it's a throwback to the fans that loved AJ Styles, who, again, next year is his last year.
And hopefully he can go out and do it the same way you were watching Cena do it, with the same grace, without any injury, because, you know, unfortunately, as he's gotten older, the injuries have gotten easier for AJ. And
he looked in phenomenal, no pun intended, phenomenal shape.
I'll put it like this. I think a lot of these old-time guys are going to start to do these retirement tours because they don't want to be the Ric Flairs. They don't want to they don't want to end up like the Hogans or the Scott Halls and all these guys, to where Father Time passes them by before they know it. They want to have some quality of life with their families and just go on there and, you know.
And they want to be able to come and go as they please without this, like, you know, the burden of the trial. Look. One of the things I talked to a lot of the wrestlers that I've interviewed over the years, what was the hardest part about being a wrestler, and every one of them, hands down, the travel. In-ring shit happens. It was the travel. It was the madness, and not just the duration of travel, but it was the fucking madness of hotel to hotel to hotel.
With today's technology, you're not more than a tablet away from your family nowadays. Like, when I worked there, you had a pay phone. That was it. You only had a pay phone. Because remember, back then the cell phones was either a bag or the poly dangerously thing like this, where the antenna went up like that. It wasn't convenient to carry around. But nowadays, it's like, and the Miz did.
Well, not just that, okay, but you got to find somewhere to go to the gym. You got to find somewhere to fucking wash your clothes. You got to, and you're doing it over and over in every town. Unless you've done that circle multiple times, you know, you got to go here. I got to go to fucking Larry's Washateria. I got to go to this gym. I got to, you know, and yes, has it gotten easier with a cutout of house shows and this and that, and has WWE made it far more accessible? Yes, but I'm talking about the guys that did this all those years, like an AJ, like a John.
You know, we used to call it back in the day, and they don't even have to do it anymore. Paying dues. They don't even, like these guys nowadays, the paying dues part. Oh my God.
But there's positives and negatives to that, though, Gerard. Like, look, we just talked about Raven, a guy who should have made Sabu, a guy who should have made millions in this business, but he was blackballed because somebody didn't like him.
Or some of them who did and didn't know how to spend it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's one of those ones to where if I can give you all the money in the world you want, but if you don't know how to spend it, then don't blame me. And I
don't think for a guy like Sabu that was the case. He was like, look, the indies weren't they when he was having to do indie shows, right? When he was doing X, Y, and Z, it wasn't the same kind of money they're making now. And the thing about that is someone like a Zack Ryder, who really changed the game as far as like the indie, becoming the king of the indies. Somebody like Cody Rhodes, who burst the independent bubble, showed that you can have an independent run and make a go of it if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
So again, talking about Stephanie and before we, of course you are. Andrade's going to be there?
Yeah.
Nice.
And hold on, I got to go this way.
I have actually gotten a chance to talk to Dijak on another stream. Wonderful human being to talk to. I would love to sit down and talk to him again if we could pull that off.
Just because you happen to put up talking about indies, so I figured I might as well just throw that in there.
So yeah, I want everybody to know that Gerard will be refereeing at Big Time Wrestling. He's going to be there. He's going to be having a conversation with Kurt, hopefully. If you can make some moves and get him over here to have a conversation with us, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
But
and I won't be touching Tony Atlas. But let's get to the Johns, the way that match flowed, the way they did it and stuff like that. And
it was a longer match, but it was.
I don't know if these people up there in Perth, Australia, bought the building shirts, but did everybody have
wearing a fucking John Cena shirt?
When they turned it on, I'm like, when the seat's yellow, I said, no, those are all freaking Cena jerseys. Which was kind of cool. Which, for Washington, D.C., I think if WWE's smart, they should outfit the entire stadium with a John Cena.
They're not going to. Well, I don't know. You never know.
No, listen. Other sports do it for certain times of the year. You know, the Super Bowl does it. To do it one time for John and say, this is going to be we like everybody put on this jersey. You know, obviously, it ain't going to be the best constructed jersey you ever had in your life. But to do it and as a tribute to him, I think it would be special.
So after 20 years, I guess now he's been wrestling?
20. Oh, no, he started with 2002. So, yeah, 23 years. 23 years in.
I was never a fan of John Cena until tonight, and I'm going to tell you why. When he started going through every one of those moves, this and that, he hit that Sister Abigail, kissed AJ on the forehead. All those fireflies popped up. And he looks
how they stopped the match for it, too?
He looks up to the sky and says, thank you.
Yep. How they stopped the match to let the fans do
so
that.
So what y'all don't see is that my screensaver on here is Bray Wyatt holding a lantern. I have a poster of Bray Wyatt here. We have 2 T-shirt boards that we're putting up that are all 3 versions of Bray, which is the Fiend, Bray, and they're in tarot cards. And you know, some characters just speak to you. Some characters just change the way you look at a business, and Wyndham Rotunda did that for me. So for John Cena to go out of his way, this is his moment, right? This is John Cena's moment to shine. This is his retirement. This is the final run. And for him to stop, and yeah, he paid tribute to Randy Orton. Yes, he paid tribute to Undertaker, but to stop the match just to say thank you. Oh,
listen,
my God.
Did you mark out on the walls of Jericho?
Yes, I marked out for the walls of Jericho.
Walls of Jericho.
That's not a Boston crab. Break the walls down.
For WWE to even mention it in that way,
for them to mention the Bullet Club.
Yep, They mentioned Walls of Jericho, made famous by Chris Jericho. They've never done that before. And I'm like, you know, with Triple H being in charge, to give homage to past wrestlers, I appreciate it. To where under Vince, you never heard the guy's name. It's like they never even existed. Okay. To do that, it's special.
I know, but see, here's my big frustration.
And the only thing is, what I'm saying is, that's John Cena. Does anybody else get that done for them?
No, because does anybody get to drop fucking fuck yous like The Rock other than Cody?
No.
I'll put it this way. I want to live in that fantasy world where that wrestling is here for everybody to make money. I want to live in that fantasy world where Tony Khan and Nick Khan can come together and break bread at the table and say, there are dream matches that people want to see. There are people when fucking AJ hit the Deadeye, which is fucking Hangman Page's one of Hangman Page's finishers. Look, I'll tell you this. It looked clean. It looked like it hurt.
Skull crushing finale.
He hit the Cena hit the skull crushing finale. It was a tribute to because you got 4 fucking shows left he's gonna be on. And this was a tribute to all his greatest fucking rivalries. When he hit that fucking, I thought he was going to hit the rock bottom. I thought he was about to hit the rock bottom. And I was like, holy shit.
That part is he almost did the Kane choke slam better than Kane. he did that thing. And I'm like, no, he did not. But I'll tell you, it was a very good.
You're one of the few people that know that Kane's finisher is a choke slam and that Undertaker's is the tombstone.
Boom. But then we go from that to the women's tag team.
Hold on before.
Okay.
Hold on. It's hard for me. I never say it again. May not have always been a fan, but thank you, John Cena, for everything that you've done. You what you've been doing in the last couple matches and what you've been doing exemplifies class. And at least you have, after 23 years, made me a fan. I am looking forward, not because you're leaving, but I'm looking forward to your next 4 matches. And I look forward to going back as a historian and enjoying that body of work that you've completed.
I got to meet the guy for the first time in a building called Good Times in Somerville, Massachusetts, at a independent show when he was known as the Prototype.
I remember that.
And, you know, talking to his dad back then, and every now and then, if me and his father run into each other, we bring up that show and stuff like that. We'll talk about it. And the thing, I will say this, is that I've actually had to pick up Chimmel from John Cena because him and Chimmel were hanging out someplace, and I had to go get Chimmel from him. And he'd come in to me and say thank you afterwards and stuff like that. As good as he is, as much criticism as John Cena has ever gotten for bringing people down, he's also one of the reasons why wrestlers today make the money they make. So, you know, unlike the Hogans and stuff like that, where you wanted to be in Hogan's card because everybody got a bigger payday, because
that doesn't work for me, brother.
The gates were up. John Cena is because of him being around. Guys like him being around took that from a gate-inspired payday to a guaranteed money-inspired payday.
This is going to be a completely off subject, but my fucking American Express card is finally paid off after all this time. Just got another. Sorry.
Oh, but if you get my point about that, to where the wrestlers of today, and I'm not just going to say Cena didn't do it on his own, but the people that came up with him, the people that he wrestled and stuff like that, to where they can get those gates, where they can get those guaranteed contracts, to where in 2 months' time, John Cena is done.
And it's crazy. Like you and I, maybe you've seen this more than I have. Well, of course, you've seen this more than I have. How does it feel to know that we just watched the entirety of a man's career and it feels like it was yesterday? I watched his first match and I'll see his last match. And I've watched a man for 23. I was kicked the night. Listen to this.
Equate that. Hold on 1 second. I will equate that. And I'm hoping you, Tom Brady.
Fuck that guy.
No. That's what I can equate it to.
That guy. I'm sorry. No, I don't have an issue with Tom Brady. But I'll put it like this. I watched John Cena win his first world title against John Bradshaw Layfield at WrestleMania 21. I remember that day vividly because I was kicked out of the house. My let's just say my parent decided I didn't need to live there anymore because I came home late. She thought I was out running the streets, and all I was doing was watching a fucking WrestleMania with my cousin, and I came home late. Okay. To now, I'm going to see John Cena's very last match. That's that's wild to me.
I was there for Undertaker's first match.
I cried at the Undertaker's first match in WWE.
Oh, I was there for his very first one, and most people will tell you, "Oh yeah, Survivor Series in Hartford, Connecticut." Nope, 3 days earlier, Rochester, New York, Rochester Civic Center. Okay, against I won't give the guy the pleasure of mentioning his name as
why
because But anywho,
is he a jobber?
Yeah, and all I can say is when we see athletes like this get on that retirement tour, we know it's the end of it, but you get to see the whole career. It's like, okay, Big Papi. It takes a piece. It's a piece of your youth because you grew up with it, watching it. For any Yankee fan, it was Derek Jeter. And, in the past, you probably went through it with Troy Aikman.
That hurts when you say that, doesn't it?
Oh, God. You probably went through it with Troy Aikman.
Well, Troy Aikman, the difference between Troy Aikman and, say, someone like I purposely forget his name every time you say it because I have so much hatred towards that team, and it's not him. It's Patriots.
Oh, six Super Bowls.
What's his, I really just blanked his name.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. You got to see him have a full, vibrant career. Trey Aikman was taken from us because of injury, because they didn't understand what CTE was, because he just took a beating. Hell of a quarterback. I think that Trey Aikman could have gone on to be one of the greatest of all time. Not that he wasn't great. It's just he could have done so much more.
And that's why I equate John Cena's run in WWE to Tom Brady, because if you think about it, it was almost year for year.
But okay, so and this is what I'll say about I really do respect about Cena. I don't think he's coming back. I think if he might do a one-off maybe here and there, but I think this is a legitimate way of him saying
my biggest thing about this, if I ever see John wrestle again after December 13th, this whole retirement tour was a scam, bullshit.
I don't believe that.
What I'm saying is there's people paying enormous amount of monies when he goes to that show that are gonna feel robbed because and then they mentioned it today. He has 4 dates left: Boston, New York, Washington, and Survivor Series. Okay, so San Diego. He has Boston, New York, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. left.
And I get what you're saying, but hear me out, okay? We know you and I have come a long way as far as like not yelling at each other with these fucking things. We just kind of just go.
Oh no, you learned how to hit you learned how to hit the off button.
If he comes back to do like a one-off, like a Steve Austin, this and that, not next year, but like
for the right situation, I guess maybe so. But
he's not Mick Foleying himself right now, like going to TNA. He's not Ric Flairing himself. He's doing it legitimately.
John Cena will never need the money.
No.
So it's not. So we can put the Ric Flair issue right out. And the one thing I will truly say before we go on to the next match, how every one of these stops that he's on, every match, at the end of every match, how he gets out and shows affection for his wife.
Yes.
Another part of his career we never saw him do, except for a glimpse in, of the Total Divas thing,
which was all staged. Let's call it what it was.
Let's take that part out. We get to see the guy that he probably says to himself, he should have been that guy 15 years ago. That's the guy he probably should have been 15 years ago.
We also got the look. There's no holding back and saying we got the villain arc, we got the heel run we always wanted. It didn't work.
No, I don't know if that's the one we wanted because
what. But I mean, again, like that was the best way to do it. Let's be honest. If he would have changed his gear, cut his hair, all that stuff, would that really have been him as a heel? Because people would have liked it.
The one thing I look at is we got his heel run.
Yeah.
When he was doing the rap gimmick, when he turned into the rapper at first, that was a heel gimmick.
It was, but what I'm saying is that this version of John Cena, this is exactly how the heel look. If you really hindsight's 2020, right? So you can go back and look at that run that he did recently as the heel, and it was exactly what it needed to be. No fucking colorful shit, just him in black shirts coming out, and it was exactly what you wanted, what you needed for that particular character to be heel. It's your fault, kid. It's your fucking.
The problem is though, kids cried for that John Cena, and they cried for this. So it's like, wait a minute. So you're crying for a
again, I'm not going to sit here and say that because he was boy Buckethead for quite a long time for me. But now it's like a fine wine. I've been able to go back and really appreciate for what it is. So,
the sad part about the world, you don't appreciate the good ones till they're gone.
But I would, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and deny that I didn't like him for years. And I didn't like his body of work, but that's not on him. That's on a company that pushed him down our throats. Would the suffering succotash Roman Reigns be over right now? Fuck no. It's when you got him and allowed him to be himself. John going out there right now and being himself is probably the most entertaining John I've seen.
It's like, yeah. And speaking of entertaining, let's get to the.
I'll say it this way, and I'll leave it at this. John Cena without Vince McMahon shoving him up my ass is the best version of John Cena I've ever seen.
Well, yeah, because the methodical, The slow and methodical John Cena? Absolutely. So we get to the women's tag match. I think this was the most lackluster match of the card.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it. Hold on.
No, enjoying it's one thing. I just don't think it lived up to what it should have done. I think it could have been better. And I don't know if that's because of the fact of you have the size of Rhea. And
I think that may have held a hindrance, but I'm telling you, when I was watching, you're a fan of the Karate Kid, right? Like you watched Karate Kid before.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Cobra Kai. I've really enjoyed, I enjoyed the show itself. I thought it was really well done. But one thing you never got was to see Daniel LaRusso fight Mr. Miyagi.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been a wonderful way to, not to cap off a show, but just, to see how far Daniel had come. You got to see that tonight with Io against Asuka. And that first interaction, when they first touched, oh my God, they have chemistry. Asuka, at 40 plus years old, is out there hanging and banging with a girl who is considered by many to be the best, not man or woman, the best in-ring performer right now.
What my thing was about that match is Kairi Sane was it seemed like she was the odd woman out in that whole match because of size. Okay. And that's unfortunate for her. Because of size, it seemed like she was the.
I want to see more of her and Rhea. Be honest with you, because I love that dynamic. We talk about people like Sabu. Sabu again. I'll bring him up again. Sabu, as a smaller guy, loved working guys like Brock because you could really get moves over, and the way he could toss him around made it look more real. To watch, the big controversy that was going around between Gail Kim, Dave, your favorite guy in the world, Dave Meltzer, talking about Riho. I'm not a fan of Riho. And my reason is, and I agree with Gail Kim, you have her looking like a fucking Asian schoolgirl, and her fucking gear is always riding up, and I'm not here to look up this Asian schoolgirl's fucking underwear.
She's smaller than
Kairi.
Kairi.
See, and that's the thing. Kairi, for me, is believable. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. You crucify me or whatever, burn me at the stake, pitchforks and torches. I think that Kairi Sane is by far one of the most incredible athletes. That elbow off the top is fucking killer. But she's a believable threat. And I would love to see her in a match with Rhea Ripley and giving them enough time to really work.
Would you say her believability, or not believability, her lack of in-ring showcasing lately compared to Io and Asuka has hurt her in this feud?
No. Here's why. Because they have showcased her, maybe not in the ring, but the idea of her character has gotten like my Trips loves Io. I'm sorry, Trips loves Kairi. She loves the pirate princess gimmick, and she used to see her, and that was her favorite girl. She just loved her some fucking Kairi Sane. And she was great in NXT. She came over. Everybody dug the pirate thing. When she left to go be with her husband in Japan and left WWE right after the whole Nia Jax incident, where she basically fucking broke her skull, she was sad. Everybody was sad. She's come back and she kind of fell by the wayside as far as the Damage Control group. She was just another member of that group. But now, being, and I hate to say it like this, Asuka's victim, Kairi! That character has so many legs that you can pull that in, and when she eventually turns on Asuka, which we know is going to happen, those are going to be matches that are going to be.
The part that I think we're really going to get into is come Royal Rumble. Hopefully, you have a lot of these women who are on the injured list come back. Right now, I think the WWE is going to end up with a too many women problem.
Is that really a problem?
When you can't showcase everybody, it turns.
No. What they have shown recently is that you can showcase the women better than you can showcase the men.
No, what I'm saying is, when you right now you get 3 shows to showcase women, and the women right now are out showcasing the men.
100%.
And some of your top performers ain't even on the card right now because they're out injured.
Yeah.
So
that seems like a male problem. They need to step their shit up.
And listen, don't get me wrong. For the match of the week had to be Becky Lynch and Maxine
fucking A. Jessica Fast Count Carr.
Like I said, hey, where did that come from? From Maxine.
I told you. I remember a couple weeks ago, and he's still not here yet, but I told you and Jacob, what did I say? You need to watch out for Maxine Dupree. She's getting better.
Wow. But I mean, it's like that's good. You know,
let me ask you this out of left field. I love throwing shit at you out of left field because you would be the expert from a historical sense of that style of booking. Do you think that there's enough women they could start how they have Raw, they have SmackDown, a women's show that just showcases women?
You have the talent. I don't know if you got the audience.
If they can make you a jaded fucking fan, I'm thinking they got
No. That's what I'm saying. I think you don't have...
Would you watch it?
Yes, until they... unless, I will tell you this right now, you can't have no Monet 10 belts. You can't have it. You can't have a Monet 10 belts.
If they do that, AEW is going to be in trouble. And I have turned a corner on AEW. I really enjoy what they've been doing. I think Darby Allin's a fucking nut job, and they need to take that little man's lighter away. But I mean,
and listen, before we get to the main event, I want to mention something that happened last night. It was finally nice to see. What's her face there? Aleister Black and his wife get together.
Absolutely. I was wondering if you were going to bring that up.
And you know, it's not just maybe not so much good for the business part of it.
It's good for them,
but it's good for them. Correct.
Because if you ever watch them out in public and watch them on their fucking YouTube shit, Zelina Vega and him are so in love. It's ridiculous. Like, and I hate, I don't hate. I love bringing up my wife to watch them interact. I joke with you, and you get a different side of me than some people, and we talk shit. But I'm a very serious guy. I don't like people. I have structure. I have order. But when I'm with my wife, I'm goofy. I'm ridiculous. When I know she's in the room, it brings a better. It makes it better.
Dude, please, I had you blushing. Give me a break.
She's my homie. She's my best friend. And to watch them together, you would not recognize Aleister Black, Malachi Black, whatever you want to call him. So to see them together was a very beautiful thing.
Hey, it happened. Hey, the right. I've said it. We've said it before. We said it again. Right woman will make you. The wrong one will break you.
Well, and speaking of SmackDown, you forgot something. So the Wyatts win their match. They keep the titles. And then a painted face comes up, and it was a return. Yeah.
Oh, was that Jacob?
It was Tamatanga.
No, I thought I saw Jacob come back too.
No, that was JC Mateo. It was Tamatanga.
I told you the 4 people they attacked Sami Zayn.
Yeah. They were dressed in the face paint of a New Japan gimmick called the Gorillas of Destiny, which Tamatanga and Tangaloa were the Gorillas of Destiny. What they do with this is going to be very interesting because if they're
then you have Solo Sikoa come in with no paint on.
Yes.
But then they released, and before we get to the last match, about the NXT releases that happened too.
Go ahead.
The Wes Lee one is a very surprise to me.
Me too.
But other than that, I'm like, okay, who are these other people? And a lot of them were LFG guys and stuff like that.
They weren't, and that's okay. So I was watching the Stone Cold documentary, and he was talking about Tough Enough when they brought that back, and none of those guys really did shit. My issue with that is you try to put them on TV too soon. There's 2 types of people trying to get in the wrestling business now, in my opinion. There's guys and gals that this has been their dream, like a fucking Roxanne Perez. There's people that have been wanting this since they were kids, like AJ Mendez back in the day. And then you have guys and gals who are in other sports who goes, oh, this is another avenue I can try. It's just acting with No. There's one exception to that rule that I think has done such an amazing job, and it wasn't her first love. Sol Ruka. She doesn't need wrestling, but damn, is she good at it.
You know what the worst thing I hear is, oh, this has always been my dream. If it's always been your dream, why do you suck at it? Put more of an effort into it.
Fucking A.
That's it. Don't tell me it's your dream and then you suck at it. And then, of course, we get to the main event. And I will say this, up until the watch segment, because you kept it open-ended because you had him use an illegal object. So you kept it open.
No, but the same thing. Like the build to this was Paul Heyman wasn't going to send anybody else out. They wanted him to do it on his own.
The one-on-one is fine. But my thing about it is like this. If you really wanted to put this over the right way or a better way, have Cody use something first.
See, but you're looking for that twist, and everybody wants Cody to go heel.
No. He uses it. He goes to try and use it. Okay, I understand he's clean cut, but that been a little bit of a twist. But there was no reason. The watch is sitting there. And then
you know it's going to.
I got to tell you this right now. I got to say this, and please answer me if I'm wrong on this. Have professional wrestling referees become the most brittle bitches in the world?
They've always been brittle bitches. Other than Kyoto and fucking Tim White.
But they never. Listen. He grazed them, and he's like, "Oh, I'm like he grazed him with a fucking shoulder."
But that's always been the gimmick of the ref. Not just because you're trying to be Superman and your fucking kryptonite is fucking Sharon Martell's tits doesn't mean that everybody else is fucking solid.
It would have been your kryptonite too. So,
to be fair, again, because I'm stuck on these documentaries, I was watching the rise and fall of ECW, and it goes back and shows when Sharon Martell was in ECW, and then I watched the AWA documentary and showing Sharon Martell there. And I had the biggest crush on her back in the day. I am so jealous of you that you got to see her boobs back in the day.
I'm just saying the fact of when you watch this and stuff like that, and you see how they did it, they came up with the watch gimmick and stuff like that. When Triple H was giving him the belt at the end and stuff like that, all I kept saying to myself is clothesline him, clothesline, clothesline. And then they had the two get into the ring at the end.
Yeah.
If you notice, how did Stephanie did it and how Seth did.
See, this is the thing I liked about her in that. She raised the belt that she won that night. She raised the crown jewel title because you're adding emphasis on the fact that, yes, I am the world champion, but now I am the crown jewel. And that's the big difference between them. And okay, tell me if you agree or not.
The belt that I'm always going to have, I got around my waist.
Yes.
The one night belt I'm raising today.
No, so hear me out when you say this. Stephanie McCare is about the business. I feel like she's business first, 100%. She's no matter where she's at, she's taking care of wrestling. Seth is taking care of himself, and then he's taking care. And again, it bleeds through. When people talk about CM Punk leaving, right? He left, and I truly believe this. People can correct me if they think I'm wrong. I think he left because his heart was broken, because the one thing he loved more than anything else, he felt like it betrayed him, which is wrestling. Wrestling betrayed CM Punk in his mind, and so he left because he had to get away from the thing that was hurting him. He came back, if you go back and look at AEW, because he loved professional wrestling. Wrestling is a very fickle mistress. You know this better than anybody else. We love it. We hate it. We feel like it cheats on us when it does things that we don't agree with. But ultimately, the greatest of all time, we know that they love wrestling. And I look at someone like Seth, and I feel like he does not love wrestling as much as he loves himself. And
he doesn't love wrestling as much as he loves the business of wrestling. Because and to put it like this, I saw John Cena do something tonight I've never seen him do. He got out of the ring, kissed his hand, and tapped the mat. Yes. Okay? He knows. That's a guy who loves
wrestling. Go back to someone like Kevin Nash. when Kevin Nash did the NWO angle, whenever they did the WrestleMania with Sting and
Yep.
Triple H, everybody's rushing out there as the NWO, and Nash said, "Slow it down, slow the fuck down. You don't know. This may be the last time you get to experience this."
And it was.
It had nothing to do with the company,
but it was. If
yeah.
you think about it, it was.
It had nothing to do with the business side of it. It was that, and I've never experienced this. You know, I've fought before, but it was in front of like at the most 500 people. But
who was it? Jericho's favorite thing: soak it in, man. That's it.
Drink it in, man.
That's it. Soak it in, because you don't know when it's going to happen again.
Ric Flair got addicted to that more than he was chasing liquor, he was chasing drugs, he was chasing everything else, but nothing gave him that feeling of walking into a fucking arena of 60,000 people going, "Woo!" and cheering him on.
The highest of highs and the lowest of lows could be going on in your life. To walk out to a crowd like that, you will feel like you are walking on clouds and forget every problem you have until you go back through that curtain. Because why? The crowd will take you and help you. Crowds can help you, good or bad. Whether they're cheering for you or booing you, they will lift you up. Okay?
Okay, so I can't experience what it was to be in front of 60,000 people, but I can tell you, walking into a fucking musky gym and having people who don't know you personally, but know your record, know this and that, cheering you on is one of the coolest things I've ever experienced in my life. And as much as I enjoyed getting a paycheck at the end of that for doing something I enjoyed doing, nothing. You're actually taking me back right now. Nothing is as cool as knowing that they're there to see you do what you feel like you can do best. And win, lose, or draw, you're these people who don't know you, don't know your story, you don't know them, but they look at you like, man, he is doing something that I wish I could do. And I think that is the something that is so understated in wrestling.
So I know the building. I was in the Worcester Central one night, and the camera guy, his name was Tom, used to love to rattle the guys in the front row and stuff like that. Well, I had this group of 4 guys really trying to get on me one night. And so one of them who just kept going on and on and on. Finally, I just turned around and like his buddies were right there. I said, let me ask you a question. How much did you have to work at McDonald's to afford those seats? Because at the end of the day, you bought your seats, but you also paid for me to work. His other 3 buddies now started turning on him and rattling him. And the guy turned like 3 shades of red because he never thought I'd turn around and say something. But you look at it and say, you know what? I probably gave that guy the thrill to where his buddies would be ragging on him the rest of the night. But it was fun. Okay? And to be able to do it and do it in the right way to where you leave a moment for anybody, just to leave a moment for somebody, good, bad, or indifferent, as long as it's not a physical thing or something like that. Like we've seen.
No, and I think I can get you. Tell me if you think this equates. My second loss ever, and I had 3 losses. Got knocked smooth the fuck out. I'll be honest, it just happened. I thought I was winning. Walked in, thought he was, more out than he was. Threw a hell of a fucking kicked me right in the fucking mouth. A guy was booing me on the way out, like he was just like, "Fuck you," this and that. I get up, shit. I have a smile on my face. I'm bleeding in the mouth. I'm leaving, and the guy that was booing me put his fist out, and I dabbed him, and he smiled on his face. And he just nodded his head.
What do you think every kid does when a wrestler goes by? They'll have his hand out. They'll pick and choose who they want, and they'll come over and take that kid and just shake his hand. You just made that. But every dollar the parents spent to get there, they know right then and there, every dollar they spent to get that kid there was worth.
And again, it was. I'm not trying to compare myself to anybody. Please don't think that. But on a small level, if that's that tiny little bit that I felt from that even equates, you can only imagine what these guys are feeling. And that's the
what I'm
drug.
saying. Where these guys are doing this, and girls, you know, if the fans treat them right, and I'm not talking about the silly shit that goes on, they don't care about the booing, they don't care about the cheering. At the end of the day, as long as you respect what they're doing, right?
Well, okay, so to bring this back around, like long story short, whatever. And I could be wrong. I don't know Kobe. I don't know Seth Rollins. But I don't feel like he's a business guy.
He's
right?
still politicking.
Yeah. And he wants them to love him. You know, I go back to someone like Tommy Dreamer back in ECW, and they used to ride his ass and they would fucking give him so much shit. And when they embraced him, you could see a change in Tommy Dreamer. Because I think that he stopped being a business guy as far as like he loved wrestling. I'm not going to deny. I think Seth Rollins loves wrestling. I just think that he looks at it in a way that some people just don't agree with. He's like demanding that they respect him, and respect is never given; it's earned.
I'm glad you bring it up because tomorrow night we're going to have that pay-per-view about 20 miles away from my house. Okay. I hope, and right now they are trying to set the arena record, not just a TNA record. If they set the TNA record, they break the arena record that's been open for 28 years. So if they break TNA's record tomorrow night, they will break the arena's attendance record. I'm hoping TNA has a phenomenal show because all that will show to me is this. Somebody who claims they're the second show is not the second show. Because you have a viable second company out there.
Well, see, but okay, so here's a problem I have with that. And I'm glad you brought this up because it's something that's been bugging the crap out of me. I said it earlier that I want to live in this fantasy world where everybody can make money in wrestling. That is the AEWs, that is the TNAs, that is the MLWs. It's everybody should be able to make money doing a craft and a business, you know, because you don't just have Subway. You got a Slotsky's. You have a Jersey Mike's. You know, you have all kinds of different sandwich shops. Why can't we have all kinds of different wrestling promotions? And I feel like
not every one of them, though, does it the right way.
Well, I mean, your right way is not my right way, and my right way, like we had my favorite son on, right? And he's very knowledgeable as far as wrestling. Proven that we should have him on again. But as far as that goes, why can't we all have our own fucking brands? Why can't we enjoy different things? And when it comes to WWE and their counter booking, now you can bring up Tuesday. Look, AEW had to move their show. I'm not saying that they didn't do it intentionally to go up against NXT. They had to because of the network they're on. They're subject to shit just like anybody else. But WWE's blatant counter programming, I don't think is right. I don't agree with it. I think it's shitty because motherfucker, you have people here that are trying to make money just like you are. They're not providing the same product as you. They're not trying to be the same as you.
And we've discussed this, and all I'd say is that they have a one-shot opportunity to kick them in their balls. Let's see what they do with that one-shot opportunity.
That's great, but it should never have come to this.
Correct.
So it's come to a point where WWE is basically is bankrolling TNA and helping them with production and giving them a spot on their programming to help them beat AEW.
Let me ask you this. If there had been a window of opportunity for the other two to work together, okay, do you think that window of opportunity got taken out by certain politics in the back?
I think that TNA was working with AEW.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think there was politics that happened in the back to where...
I think that WWE saw them. Opinion. I'm not going to be fucking cast out as I'm not speculating. I am speculating. This is my opinion. This is not trying to fucking defame anybody or trying to, make up fucking conspiracies. It's just my opinion what I think happened. I think WWE saw TNA working with AEW. So AEW working with AAA. So AEW working with New Japan. And they said, nope, we can't have that. We're going to go in and we're going to crush all that. And they took TNA under their wing and they used them to fuck with AEW.
What I'm saying is, could there have been a time to where WWE tried to work with AEW, but backstage politicking got in the way to where the window to do it was gone.
I don't know.
My thing on that is, I wonder if that's why Shane.
No, I think Shane wanted to prove to everybody that he could actually book a wrestler.
I'm just saying, if they could have worked together on something simple, because I'll tell you the greatest way they could have worked together is something like a crown jewel or something like
Forbidden Door,
the evolution, something like that, to where, hey, you send yours, we're gonna have ours, we're gonna do this, blah blah blah. They'll never interact with each other. You can put your people on ours, and have a coexisting pay-per-view. The problem I've always had, it'd be like when the XFL started and the NFL. The XFL and the NFL didn't want nothing to do with each other. But look at how many things that the XFL created that the NFL now use.
Well, okay. Well, think about this. Think about it. If I'm booking something like this, right? We all know that the matches are predetermined, right? We're not children. But I go in there.
Shit.
I go in there in a situation like this, and if you're going to do something like that, because the biggest argument's always going to be is my guy needs to go over, my guy needs to look.
No, you don't have them. I'm saying is, so you could have an AEW match. They're not talking. I'm not talking about a crossover.
But then what is the point?
You have both company stars on the same show.
Okay, that's boring. Why don't I just watch AEW by itself, or why don't I watch WWE? Ultimately, where your money's going to be made is watching these co-stars, these stars from different companies compete. And if I'm booking that, all right, then I run down the gauntlet. Okay,
because right now the way we're watching, because when I watch right now with the TNA versus NXT, okay,
NXT is taking it. I do, but I think that WWE's like beating their ass.
I like the concept. The problem is I don't like a one-sided concept.
So this is what I'm saying. Hear me out. If I were to book something like this, and I don't like flipping coins, but what I do is I go, okay, well, here's your world champion. Here's your women's world champion. We flip a coin. Whoever wins the coin toss, our men's world champion's going over on yours, but then your women's world champion's going over on ours. And then we flip that over. Okay. So your men's mid-card champion will beat my mid-card champion, but my tag team champion is going to beat yours. And then again, or have a run-in with this one, but there's a fair way to do it.
Oh, there's an equitable way to do it, and I think it's more for bragging. There's the name of the pay-per-view right there. Bragging rights. There's your name.
Okay, so like right now you have Chris Statlander as the women's world champion. You have Hangman Page as their world champion. If you're going to do a cross promotion, I think personally,
give me somebody in either company. Give me somebody. Give me a woman wrestler right now against Chris Statlander in WWE, who believable. Because I'll tell you this right now: Stephanie Vaquer versus Statlander, Tiffany.
I think Tiffany would need to lose to Statlander, but I don't think you can let Stephanie Vaquer, because you're still in a very crucial position right now when you're trying to build her. I think that if you're going to have that match, then you have to put her against Stratton, and Stratton has to lose.
Because the other out for that is you could take your other champion and put her against Stephanie.
Vaquer. I think you do that, and Stephanie Vaquer has to go over.
Yep.
And that, going as far as the world title, I think you have Hangman Page. I think Hangman Page would have to, if you're trying to make it legit, he faces Cody, he beats Cody. And the reason he beats Cody is because Cody was always better than him in AEW. Cody was always the bigger deal. And it would take Hangman Page to another level. But you take someone like a Seth Rollins and have Seth Rollins beat their television champion, which is currently right now I'm not a big fan of him, but he's part of the Don Callis family.
I would love to see fantasy booking. As much as I can't stand Seth Rollins, him versus MJF.
Oh my God. Just so you know, he's late, but he's here.
Yeah. Could you imagine that? Oh my God, that would be. I think that would be a fantasy booking and a half. And you know what the sad part is? Just for mic work. Never mind him actually having a match.
I truly believe if you let MJF be MJF, he buries fucking Seth Rollins.
And that would be
the only. Look who's back home.
Hey, white boy.
What up?
Look at the white boy.
Yeah.
Him and his Prince symbol.
Oh yeah. It's the greatest tattoo of all time. I got it like touched up when I was in Alaska, but did not end well. So
you like being home?
Oh, it's fucking beautiful. It's hot as balls here, but it's amazing.
Hey, take hot as balls. Hey, you almost missed your window to come home.
Right?
It's cold as balls right now.
Oh God.
Oh, nice.
I was gonna ask you if you got your bag of frozen peas.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about here?
We're talking about how intercompany, like an intercompany pay-per-view, and I came up with a name.
Well, and ultimately, what I wanted to get to though is because, and I know we talked about Crown Jewel for over an hour, but the real crux of all this is I want to go back. I'm glad that you're here, Jacob. I don't know if y'all saw 2 weeks ago. You had fucking LA Knight in a match with Kofi Kingston, and Kofi got hurt. I don't know if he took a stick, got a bump. I don't know if it was, but the way they finished that match, that is how you fucking do it. Like the way he protected Kofi in that match, even in the ending, hit him with the BFT, and they slid out. No one even realized that Kofi was hurt. Now, if you watched, you knew Kofi was hurt because he took a second there, and you saw them passing messages via the ref.
A headshot or?
I think it was something with his head. He slid. I don't know if something happened. I think he might have hit the rope or something wrong because he was fucked. But they ended it abruptly after that, but you couldn't tell. These guys have been doing it forever. All right?
Accidents are going to happen. Nobody's perfect.
But you didn't hear about it. No one ever brought it up. And I do want to talk about the idea that these young guys coming up, like a Braun Breaker, like a fucking Bronson Reed, are they really going to take over? Because I mean, look at John Cena just is retiring. AJ Styles is retiring. A lot of guys are on that line where it's about done for them.
I think Undertaker used to say it best is, what's the sense of going 100 miles an hour if you crash after your first mile?
Yeah.
Going 30 miles an hour and getting there, it's going to take you longer to get there, but you get there. And some of these guys and stuff like that, yeah, the WWE wants to push them like that, and not just WWE. Every company wants to push them like that. But do you want longevity, or do you like?
Well, that's the
thing. A sprint, not a marathon.
That's the thing, Gerard. And I'm glad Jacob's here. Does this next crop coming up? Because, like I said, me and Gerard are from the old school. Jacob's hero, John Cena, is finally retiring.
His whole life. He's known one. His whole life, he's basically known one.
So now he's experienced this next generation. Like this is maybe the third or fourth time you and I've gone through this. Yeah. This is the first time Jacob's actually seeing a change in the guard. Remember when Steve Austin retired? What the fuck? But who's going to carry the fucking?
He had 5 years. 5 years. Undertaker, 30. Ric Flair, 30. Hogan, 30. Look at the names I'm saying in the longevity. Austin, 5. Cena, 25.
That neck.
Right, and I'm just saying is so he's had told you he's been alive for John Cena. He was alive for all of Tom Brady. Think about it. That's all he's been alive for.
So let me ask you, Jacob. Hold on, let me ask Jacob. Jacob, is the next crop of stars good enough to take over for this retiring group?
I mean, you got a guy, again, I love Braun Breaker, but, his name is literally Braun Breaker, and I still think it's a stupid fucking name. But, these guys, like Gerard just said, Undertaker said, it's just some of these guys, they're good, but they're way too fast. Like, Braun Breaker is fucking way too goddamn fast in there, to the point where I'm like, he's either going to hurt himself or he's going to hurt someone. And like he's just not quite there yet. Now Bronson Reed is great, and I'm glad that Bronson Reed won today, but I wish it was more clean than what it was. But I think of the two, of the bronze, I think Bronson Reed has enough, I think he has enough longevity. If he stays the right shape, if he doesn't get too, Keith Lead out, whatever happened to him. And he, if he stays healthy, I think this current crop can maintain. It just depends. They need that one breakout star.
I'm going to say one name. I'm going to say one name. Tell me what you think. Jacob Fatu.
Yeah. I mean, I personally love Jacob Fatu. I'm not sure why he's cooled off recently, but he's starting a feud with Drew McIntyre. I think Drew, along with Seth, needs to just go away, but that's just me. And
you want to throw away a member of the 3MB?
Drew is like he was the worst part of 3MB. You have the king of 3MB himself, Jinder Mahal, and it just doesn't compare. It's just every group needs a Ringo, and every group needs a Paul. But anyway, Jinder Mahal aside. I think, again, and like that's a great name too. If they brought him back, I think he could lead, the next crop of the new generation of talent. But he could mentor, he could be the champion. It's all in all, beautiful. But anyways, no, I think someone like a Javon Evans, for example, like you see the shit that this kid can do, and I say kid because he's literally 21, and he literally said
for the first time you can say that someone's younger than you in wrestling.
Yeah, it's crazy. And he literally said, he gave an interview like a week ago, and he said, yeah, I got exposed to wrestling through WWE 13. And I'm like, dude, that's fucking crazy. So,
my thing about it.
So, yeah, but you see the things that this kid can do, and it's just like, it's great and all, but if he's just got to tone it back a little bit. But I think he's Darby Allin with the talent, essentially. Because I think Darby Allin is talented, but Darby Allin's going to be dead by fucking 40. So
my thing with Darby Allin is like I'm going to sound like fucking Jim Cornette, and I'm not trying to sound like Jim Cornette, but fuck, hit the gym, brother, get some weights, do something, put some size on you. But I would say the same thing about fucking dirty Dominic Mysterio. I love Dominic Mysterio's character. I love how far he's come.
Yeah,
but put on some fucking size,
That's where I think Dom is probably the one that I think could be a breakout star. Like, could be the one, especially if they turn him babyface and they get this, because he's already starting to get over pretty big, anyways. So if he bulks up just a little bit, then yeah, I think he could be the one. But it's just there's not really other than that, there's not really that many like besides Braun Breaker, besides Dom Mysterio. Obafemi, I think could be one too. Like
but this is my concern about Obafemi, Jacob. Like watching Obafemi in NXT, he's starting to get booed. Like the gimmick of him being the conqueror, the ruler of NXT.
He needs to drop his fucking fake accent. Like that's why. That's why Tony D'Angelo will never be anything ever.
You shut your whore mouth when you talk about the Don. You shut your whore mouth about the Don.
Hey, I'm going to say it like this, and I hope you guys understand. Agree. I think the women of today are going to have a longer career than the men of today.
Well, that's about time, though, Gerard. I mean, look at women have naturally and for the longest time, their careers have been gone in an instant. Because, they're not pretty enough anymore. They're not this, they're not that. The days of Fabulous Moolah are over.
Hey, you want to hear something screwed up? So I'm looking at the Survivor Series billboard today. They got Naomi on the Survivor Series billboard. I'm like, yeah, she ain't got a chance in hell of being on Survivor Series.
She's going to walk out baby bump and all,
She might have a baby during Survivor Series, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, she'll comes out dancing.
And, and for her sake,
I just had a horrible image. She slides out, and then the baby slides.
I don't want to see them do it placenta on a pole match.
Oh,
Jesus! We just got taken out. We're off the internet now. We're done.
Saying is the fact, though. For Jimmy's sake, I'm hoping that she doesn't have the baby right at Survivor Series, and it's going to make him, miss the match.
It's only been like 4 months.
No, it's been longer than that.
Yeah, it's been a while.
The concept of time sucks.
It was like right after WrestleMania or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so.
Blue.
It was right after WrestleMania, wasn't it?
Well, time flies in wrestling, man. It's like that.
Yeah. But I'm just saying.
I can't believe what
Especially
John
for me,
Cena.
dude, I didn't even know about that whole flooding in Texas until like 4 days after it happened when I was up.
Well,
in
fucking,
Alaska.
and all of a sudden now we got John Cena with 4 matches left.
Yeah,
Dude, that's crazy to me. I'm like, God damn, he's got 4 matches left. Here's the
we already
thing.
said the dates too. We said he has Boston, New York, San Diego, and Washington.
He sounds like fucking Tony Montana from Scarface. New York, Chicago, L.A. We gotta expand whole operation.
My favorite thing about that movie is no one is remotely Cuban anywhere in that movie. Like, it's fucking hilarious. Like,
well,
no, Mal, you fucked up.
We're coming into the good part is through the doom and gloom of summer to where the wrestling shows should actually start to peak up. The storyline should start to peak up again. But I will say this was the summer of doom because how they survived it. This, Jacob and me and Dan said, this pay-per-view tonight was so much better than WrestlePalooza on every aspect.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, yeah, that's not even apples to oranges.
But that's the thing. They were trying to push blowjobs. They were trying to push WrestlePalooza to be fucking this summer's WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a show. I
will say this: ESPN's quality, like you could really feel the fucking 4K on that shit. Even on my phone, I was like, okay, this looks fucking good.
Yeah. I mean, it's a plus.
The good part is ESPN didn't bring in their television guys. WWE got to keep their TV guys because WCW used to have the thing to where we're a TV show trying to do wrestling. They used to miss spots all the time, and all the wrestlers used to say how they would miss spots all the time. And the thing with WWE, they're just a wrestling company on television.
Have y'all noticed the difference ever since fucking Bucky Beaver's been gone?
Oh yeah.
Oh, listen.
Literally go back and watch any of the shows, especially like the 2022 era. That's where it really got noticeable. All the fucking jump cuts, man.
Yes,
it is ridiculous. There's a segment with I believe it's Seth Rollins and Constable Corbin. Remember that great run?
That camera above the ring where they show the guys run, like they'll show Braun Breaker run around.
Yeah,
that is just.
They got the drone camera now too.
Oh.
I love that. That's fucking. That's interesting. But no, there's literally a segment where Seth Rollins is hitting fucking Baron Corbin with chairs, and you could see like he has to. It cuts from him going up and down and up, and then it cuts from one angle to the, and then they see there's a crowd angle of it, and you could see the cameraman like going with the fucking going with the chair shots.
You know what I just realized. You know what I missed actually from today. I really wish there was a Logan Paul match today.
Right? I was wondering. Yeah, I was like, where's he at?
Because as good as the John and Styles match was, who could he have wrestled to just like?
Well, I'm also thinking that they're going to make Logan Paul a face. They're going to make him a babyface. Because remember, when he lost to John Cena, he walked away and he was just like.
Right now, let me ask you this. If Logan Paul right now wrestled Dominic Mysterio.
I still think Dom goes up.
Dom is still going to be the biggest babyface there.
Even more so.
I'm saying is, you think how the crowd would react to that match.
Yeah, that's true. That would have been a good match.
Because I saw something today that Dominic Mysterio is going to end up fighting John Cena at Survivor Series. I think it was in San Diego.
I have a hot take here. I think Dom should be Cena's final opponent. To be honest.
It's going to be actually. They've already revealed who it's going to be.
Well, I know it's going to be Gunther, but I would put fucking Dom in that spot.
Let me put you like this: if it's Gunther, like I've said to Dan, if it's Gunther, I would like to see Gunther win his normal way. He gets up
and shakes his hand.
Yep.
Now, in Gunther, he's the winner. Shakes Cena's hand. And gets out of the ring.
No, I know you know what's going to happen. You know what it's leading to, right?
And I'm talking about a no BS. It's going to lead to, and by him doing that, if they want to turn him baby, by him doing that, he gets up, walks out.
No. We're going to get the match we were supposed to get fucking 4 years ago.
Yep.
I promise you, what's happening is he's going to be his last match. Gunther's going into the Royal Rumble. He's going to say, I'm going to win back my world title. And he's going to come face to face with the most dominant force in WWE right now. The pisser himself, Brock Lesnar.
No, he's not a pisser. He's the pissy. He likes piss.
He's going to. I'm just talking shit. I love Brock Lesnar, but he's going to wrestle Brock Lesnar.
Because he listen, he's kissing his ass now because he's one of the few men on the planet that Dan's scared of.
Well, I think Dan's pretty much on point. I honestly don't think we're seeing Brock again until Royal Rumble. So
I think it's going to be Brock and fucking Gunther at WrestleMania.
Hey, just so that I know, you got to go to the airport still or no?
Yeah, in about 30 minutes, we're good.
Oh, okay.
That's why we did it early, so I can make sure we get 2 hours.
Because that was always the time anyway.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted to make sure that we got there on time. Like I wanted to give us 2 hours. I wanted to actually give us 2 hours because we're not going to be here next week.
So Jacob, so next week we're not here either.
Yeah, next week we're not here.
Okay. We're not here, so we're not doing the show next week.
Yeah, I'll be in Austin, so I won't, have access.
All right, we'll do a special edition shooting the shit on my channel. Maybe we'll figure something out.
You can invite Gerard to that.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah. Let me try to figure out how to get that one in.
Here's the thing though, today definitely the card was way better than I thought it was going to be honest. But
the card the card wasn't better. The matches were better.
Yes.
Yeah. No, the matches. The John Cena versus AJ Styles was great. I wasn't expecting John Cena to get me emotional on a fucking 9:00 in the morning, but here we are. And seeing AJ Styles back in his old school TNA gear was cool as fuck. I was like,
the only thing that I wish he would have done was I know he hates the song, but if he would have come out to "Look, you're ready to fly," I would have marked the fuck out.
Yeah, it would have been great.
Jacob, I was telling him, so tomorrow night, if you say his name, he might appear. I'm 20 miles away from that building.
Hey, man, I love Joe Hendry. I mean, he's basically signed to NXT now. That whole NXT and TNA invasion kind of, shit the bed a little bit.
This is my thing about, and me and Gerard were just talking about it. I don't think that, it didn't do TNA any favors other than maybe bring some eyes to them. But they're gonna pluck all their best talent. Joe Hendry's going to NXT. The perfect fucking example is you had Bobby Roode sitting there and telling him, I won that title, but now you need to be focusing on the NXT title.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to say at the time, I would like to say congratulations to Mickie James, to the beautiful people for their TNA Hall of Fame inductions and stuff like that.
Like the beautiful people got inducted?
Yeah.
You did. Damn right they did.
Oh, I thought you meant the inspiration. I'm like, what the fuck? They were there for a cup of coffee.
No. So the beautiful people and Mickie James.
One of the best and most underrated fucking factions of all time as far as females.
Dude, I would fantasy, but I would always fantasy book them going to WWE.
We know you were fantasy booking.
I thought he was. See, Jake, I'm so proud of you that it wasn't you that fucking went there. It was Gerard that went there, the dirty old bastard that he is.
Yeah, they were very near and dear to my boners growing up. But the problem is that here's the thing, with the beautiful people, they were the most over. They got heat recently because they came out and they did an interview. They're like, yeah, we were more over than anyone on the roster during that time.
They were at the time.
And it's look at the ratings, dude. The ratings don't lie.
The other than Samoa Joe against fucking Kurt Angle in that cage match, Gail Kim and Awesome Kong and the beautiful people were killing it. And you know who was in charge back then? Dutch Mantel was in charge of the women. And you had the only thing that fucking Russo had touched that he got lucky on, but it was actually Dutch Mantella was doing it, was the Joe stuff. Everything else is shit.
Next year I think for WWE next year, they should find a way to put, his name is, the leprechaun in.
Hornswoggle?
No.
Finley?
Fit Finley. I think he needs to get into the Hall of Fame because
for everything.
I'm kind of surprised he's not already because he's been working
what he's done for the women's division in
WWE. Victoria needs to go in the fucking Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So she's inducting Mickie James in tonight.
Jesus.
Yep. So she's inducting her tonight.
How she doesn't have a fucking spot in the WWE Hall of Fame, I have no idea. Kelly has a spot in the fucking WWE Hall of Fame before Victoria. How Miss
Kelly's
Elizabeth.
in the Hall of
I think
Fame.
there's one reason why. Because when she left, Lisa Marie Vaughan didn't have the greatest things to say.
Fair.
Which
That was
to me, I'm sorry. You know, I understand in the wrestling world and stuff like that, you're supposed to keep your mouth shut. But she wasn't treated she wasn't treated in the best of worlds either.
But okay, but she would take that honor and run with it and be happy about it. You
Yep.
have Sunny in the fucking Hall of Fame.
Which
Well,
by
and
now I think
another person we have in the Hall of Fame, who's the wife of a certain dead man, Michelle McCool, is in the Hall of Fame. And
hey, let's put it like this: they took Hulk Hogan out for about a year over words. He never killed anybody. Sonny is in jail right now for
vehicular manslaughter.
homicide.
see, I was gonna go the Jimmy Snuka route with that, but yeah, no, Sonny too. It's like, alleged.
And the biggest travesty of all of them, the one who deserves to be in there, who was the counter to Sensational Sherry, but she's still not in there. The First Lady of Wrestling, Miss Elizabeth.
And I don't know if the reason why Elizabeth isn't in is because she has no family members to do it for. Like there's no family member to put that Legends contract with. Where they put her in, they get the royalties from it, and so they might just be thinking.
Who gives a shit? Then just do it.
Here's the thing for you: because there's nothing like that, there should be something named after her.
Then you have Lanny Poffo come out and say, "My brother loved her."
Lanny Poffo is passed away.
Lanny passed away? When did Lanny pass away?
What, dude? Like two years ago?
Wow.
Yeah, he died a little bit ago.
How the fuck, brother? Jesus.
Yeah, everyone around that's dead.
The fact of now, when they inducted Savage, they could have done.
I got it. You're gonna think I'm crazy, but hear me out.
I said they could name something after her.
No, hear me out. Mega Powers. You have Brooke.
No, Nick. You'd have to have Nick now. You'd have to have Nick.
No, you have Brooke.
You have Nick pull in on his Ferrari right to the Hall of Fame.
You're such a prick, but you have Brooke do it and remind women she was the first woman of professional wrestling. Women are so important.
But that's what I'm saying. If you went into just have a manager's award, if you just put down manager's award, you could have it called the Miss Elizabeth Manager's Award or something like that, to where you recognize her on a yearly basis, because I think that might be the only reason why, is the fact she doesn't have any family members who can do it. And it's sad because, put it this way, what we see today, and you weren't alive for the bidding process, and I remember that bidding process.
When they were trying to find out who was going to be his manager?
Oh, my. No. It was funny watching the promos for the bidding process to see.
And then she came out.
Then she comes out, okay? And at the time, it was his real-life wife.
It was so cool to watch again, I'm a documentary fucking hound, but to watch Beauty and the Beast in that role, like it was, because he clearly was. Oh, yeah. He used to talk like, what's his name? Harpo. Well, not Harpo. That guy from the wrestler from back in the day. I can't remember his name, but anyway, he was that beastly character, and then she was so soft-spoken and sweet. And even though they had gotten divorced, there's nothing quite like that moment, the retirement match. She comes out, she attacks Sherry to protect the Macho Man.
I was there,
crying. The people, fucking that girl crying, will go down. We talk about the Brock Lesnar winning, the guy was eyeballs out. The counter to that.
If I wish you guys, I mean, I can never put it into words, because
you cried, didn't you, Gerard?
The backstage atmosphere when they all got to the back, and to have your peers there giving you a standing ovation because of what the magic that you just created, okay, and the organic feel to that magic.
Jacob, what he's saying is that a young Gerard, who his boners were influenced by this beautiful woman, cried like a bitch.
No. What I'm saying is, like I say, you saw the woman crying, and I'm saying in the back, You had Vince standing up clapping, their peers clapping. All three of them were hugging because it was organic. And when it comes across as organic, no matter how when it comes across as organic, it's the best feeling because you bring the people on a story and you put the story out there, you got it across, and you got it done right. There's been times people tried to do it and fell on its face.
I love the scene where he goes, Elizabeth, will you marry me?
And listen.
Goes, oh, yeah. And he just the shaking of his head.
And listen, I'm trying to remember if that was the night that I had to pick her up. I'm trying to remember.
Well, another moment that comes close to it is WrestleMania 33 when John Cena proposed to.
Oh
Nikki
God,
Bella,
please!
And that was just, it was so beautiful. It was so genuine too, because again, it was no one knew it was coming, and it was just like, you could see grown men were crying that day, and it was just
You know why grown men were crying? They would say, "Thank you. She can never take our money." Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, she can.
Yep, and it was beautiful, and then that just started one of the best reality shows of all time, Total Bellas.
Oh my God!
Which I'm telling you right now, I don't like Nikki Bella because you can say that she was in on it too. Whatever, she's the reason. AJ Lee, her fucking monumental fucking streak, her world record title reign was taken, and it was out of spite. It's not because Nikki Bella deserved it, because we all know she didn't deserve it. I'm sorry.
There's no proof to it, but would you ever say Nikki could have been some of the cause of AJ Lee's breakdown?
I don't know. I'm not going to put that on her. I don't think. I think that it was a different. It goes back to the psychology and the philosophies they had back then. It was just as bad for the women. I think Wrestler's Court, as much as we talk and we joke about stuff like that, was detrimental to the fucking people back there. It was a different time, and look what happened to Melina. They were bullying the women.
I still believe there's a locker room. They police the locker room.
There probably is,
but they're not. They're not fucking brutal. These people like that. Look what they did to Melina.
No, because remember, I was saying is back in those days and stuff like that. The rookies would take the veterans out for dinner or buy the beer.
There's hazing. Like look. Okay, and in the military there was hazing and people have died. In colleges there's hazing and people die. There's tough love and there's fucking brutality.
Well, remember, if I'm right, if you're a rookie in the NFL, some veteran has you carry his bags.
That's fine. I get that. I'm not. That's look. There's.
We talked about paying dues. Okay,
so in Japan they call them the young boys. They call them, they go around, they carry the veterans' bags, they do all that stuff. Shinsuke Nakamura talked about it. Fucking Finn Balor was part of that program. They weren't shitting in their bags. They weren't bullying them. They weren't what they did to the Miz was ridiculous. They made him change in the fucking public restroom.
And I wonder who did that. I wonder who was the one who.
Was that JBL?
That was JBL.
No, it was a certain rabid Wolverine of some kind.
Was it? Oh
yeah. Whatever happened to that guy?
Wow.
Yeah. No, but no. Here's the thing. Like, it is like I'm of the belief that once Punk left in 2014 and AJ stayed, I definitely think there was probably some bullying right on the men's side too. Probably like not bullying necessarily, but there was probably some people like in the locker room who like stopped talking to her or like avoided her. You know what I mean?
I also think they were trying to capture lightning in a bottle with her because when Punk left and she started going on that run as champion. She dropped her own pipe bomb, which really fucking pissed off a lot of those girls.
Put it this way, 11 years later or something like that, give me a woman's promo that beats that promo 11 years later.
Well, and that promo is great, but what ruins it is the fucking Bella Twins screaming during it the whole time.
I think it's great. Hey, they didn't know what she was saying.
No, you could tell. Of course,
and
yeah. Well,
that's what made it better is the fact that you got an honest response. Okay, but I'm saying is though, since that you haven't had another woman pipe bomb per se that a woman calls out everybody else on the roster. She didn't just call out the people; she called out everybody on the roster.
But she really hit the divas. She hit the fucking idea of what divas were.
And you know what?
And I think Lyra Valkyria's Becky Stompers promo. I think that was. I think that's up there.
Hey,
These aren't just my big shoes.
but I'm just saying the fact of, I would love to see a woman today get that kind of a promo over with the fans. Instead, there's so many of them. If they're supposed to have a serious one, they start laughing halfway through the serious promo because that's just the way they talk.
But also, look, I blame stuff like the NWO for that, because when you start I go back and I look at something like Jim Cornette. I look at the Midnight Express. They were clearly heels. That's what their job was. I look at the Dudley Boys in ECW. They were fucking assholes. They were heels. And when you start crossing the line and making the heels cool, you kind of ruin it. I'm sorry. And I hate
makes the heels cool?
The audience. But
That's
when
it.
they
Or you have the opposite, where you have someone like Seth Rollins who cuts promos like a babyface, but he's supposed to be this fucking heel with this group.
Well, no, the problem with Seth Rollins is he's a fucking entrance. That's the problem with him.
That's all he is, and it's fucking. But
but going back to what I was saying about the NWO, they never got their get back. Go back, look at someone like Paul White, the Giant, right? You're gonna tell me the 7-foot motherfucker couldn't crush Hulk Hogan in his bare hands? Oh no, we're gonna have him join the NWO.
You know what the problem with? And I'm gonna tell you the biggest problem with Paul White was.
He wasn't being a giant.
Paul White.
Yeah, and he admits that.
Biggest problem with him was him because the way he got booked to start. Put it this way, Hillbilly Jim, okay, greener than green. But when they first started with him, they booked him in a way that made it believable. With the Giant, when they first started booking him,
you know what? That just hit me. That's who they need to put with Jade Cargill. Paul fucking White. She's making the same mistakes as he did.
But my thing is, and like the more I look at her, I say I don't know how much they are self-inflicted, as in the fact of she got so screwed up by the way she was previously trained.
Okay, so did Paul White. Hear me out. And this is a direct story from Paul fucking White.
Who trained him?
He was at the power plant for a while. But hear me out. They kept yelling at him for years. Be a giant. Be a giant. Okay, well, what the fuck does that mean? He said, what does that mean, be a giant? No, you got to be a giant. You got to do what Vince wants. Well, sometimes Vince doesn't know what he wants. So you got to do this. And he got so much bad information until he was on a European tour with a guy who was fucking roughhousing him, beating the shit out of him, hit him one good time in the face, hurt his feelings a little bit. So then he fucking fought back. And that guy used to pour beer on him, and his name was Stone Cold Steve Austin. He talked about that. He talked about the fact that he didn't realize that when he was talking to he was talking to Braun Strowman. Go figure, this guy's running his fucking mouth against Paul Heyman right now. But he told.
Did you see Paul Heyman's response?
Yes, I saw Paul Heyman's response. But he kept telling Braun. He goes, Braun said, "Well, I'm wrestling Sami Zayn. I got to give him a little get back." And he goes, "No, you don't. It's a bad day for Sami Zayn when he's got to wrestle you, because ultimately you're running the show. You're the fucking giant in there. You do your fucking job." What happened to fucking Braun Strowman is he accidentally needed Brock, and Brock let him up, and he was never the same after that. Paul White explained to fucking most people, being a giant means it's your fucking thing. You're calling that match. And if they decide they're not to, what would Andre have done? Oh, I don't know.
What did Hogan say about Andre?
If he wanted to turn that match, if he wanted to fucking, he didn't want to fucking.
If he didn't want to go over, if he didn't want to go over, he wasn't going over. That's it.
Yeah, I got no proof of this, but I hope that that's why Big Bill is doing really good in AEW. Well, at least whenever he's used in AEW, he does pretty good. Like I've seen him, he's a way better worker than he used to be. And I hope Big Show helps him out a little bit, because I don't know.
When you hear people say wrestle like a giant, okay, there's been maybe 5 of them.
There's no I'm going to say
there's no like a guy who's 200 pounds cruiserweight wrestle like a cruiserweight. Oh, I can do that. Why? There's only 1,000 of them.
Mark Holloway could jump over the fucking and clear the top rope with ease.
He was never told to wrestle like a giant.
But he did. He could do all that acrobatic stuff, but he slowed.
I don't know, man.
down.
I think Tala Tonga. I think he's going to be the next big.
I'm saying is some of these guys. But think about it. The Undertaker, when he first started, he didn't do nothing like that except for the jump clothesline. But other than that, he was slow and methodical. But he showed you things like the the old school and stuff like
big
that.
guys are going to get their own kind of pop. Like when the Giant first started wrestling, he was doing that athletic shit. But again, being that big, you're just destroying your career.
Because we can always just go back to Bam Bam. Bam Bam was the first one who actually took his weight and used it.
But even then, Bam, look, someone like Keith Lee, who was a fucking anomaly, still wrestles like a big man. He can do all that stuff.
When he did wrestle, I mean, I don't know, he hasn't wrestled in 4 years now.
Look at something like Bronson Reed. He knows how to do a high-flying spot and make it look impactful. That tsunami looks like it kills people.
Yeah. Hey.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't know why they're not using Omos. I mean, like, because Omos can actually work. Like, if you've seen, like, his, like, actual matches.
In Japan and the shit he's done in Mexico, he's done excellent. But again, there was a time, and Gerard, you can speak to this, the Big Giant was a spectacle. He wasn't there for titles.
And I was going to say is, up until Big John Studd, nobody ever really gave Andre the challenge he needed. But then John Studd comes along, and now Andre has the
body slam challenge.
He has a formidable strongman to go with him.
See, why don't they do something like that with Rusev now? Like, because now that they have Rusev, I don't know why they don't use him.
Did you see? Did you hear Rusev Day?
Yeah, Rusev. See, that's the thing. Rusev, they're trying to make him. Rusev's just a likable guy. If you've seen anything like outside of
my favorite thing of Rusev online was when he says, "I have to mow the lawn." Went out in a fucking Speedo and a cigar with sunglasses on and mowed the lawn while Lana took pictures.
Oh no, you like the fact that he was in a Speedo.
No, it's just that he's a character. If you ever watched his Twitch back in the day, he's fucking hilarious. When he's just being Nero,
funny guy.
He's hilarious.
I think that's why Vince used him in that capacity, because he is a fucking funny guy. But the reason, like, Rusev could be that, like, nowadays if they book him right. Like, I don't know what they're doing now with him. He's kind of in a feud with Dom, like where Dom's running away from. By the way, him and Dom had a great match a couple weeks ago. So I hope he gets that Intercontinental title and they book him better than.
Ultimately, what I see happening is Rusev's going to get that belt. Sheamus is going to come back and finally beat Rusev to get the belt.
I'm going to tell you this right now.
I would like to see Sheamus versus Brock. I don't know why we've never got that match.
I don't know where I don't know if they've announced it's happening yet, but the Royal Rumble, if everything keeps going the way it is, the Royal Rumble is going to be extremely good because of how you're going to have guys get left out. That's how
Sammy's winning that Rumble.
Well, I also think that, okay, so hear me out. There's two guys that really need to get that belt. It's only, even if it's one time, they have to get the big belt. Sami Zayn, LA Knight. I feel like at some point in the next calendar year, both of them will have the world title.
Here's a question for you. What if we have a double winner?
Why would you?
Oh, no, listen to me. One gets to go after one title. One gets to go after the other title. That's how they solve it.
Nah.
Or because, we need to.
You leave Bret Hart and Lex Luger alone.
Hey, we need the Money in the Bank briefcase to come back around again.
I know. As much as I don't like the Money in the Bank, yeah, they do need that.
On both sides.
We just had a great cash-in, though, with Seth Rollins, even though I don't like how it was executed, and I hate Seth Rollins. It was a good cash-in.
It was a good cash-in. Don't like him, but yeah.
Because right now on the women, I think you're going to see, if they bring back Money in the Bank anytime soon, I think Liv Morgan, I think they'll bring it back in time for her, because she'll cash in again.
Liv Morgan's winning the Royal Rumble.
What? You don't want Jade to win the Royal Rumble?
Well, I think Chris Jericho is winning the Royal Rumble.
No, we're not talking. Is he on the what? He will if he's in the women's match.
Here's the thing. I think. Do you guys think we're seeing Jericho at the Rumble? Because I think
we might. I think yes, but I don't.
These are talks that we're hearing. We're hearing that Jericho may come back for one of Cena's last matches, and Edge may come back for one of Cena's last matches.
But seeing the fact that, like I said, Boston, New York, Survivor Series in San Diego is supposed to be him and Dom because of the home crowd, and then Washington, D.C., which you guys say should be Gunther. So unless he's coming in Boston or Washington, I mean Boston or New York, that's Edge and Jericho right there. they would have. I mean, I don't see Cena wrestling in Boston or in Washington or in New York City. I don't see him wrestling. I think this is going to be mic work because they're both Raws. I think he has 4 appearances and only 2 matches.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Dom, and then the Saturday night's main event.
So, what do you guys think about the crown jewel champion, Seth freaking Rollins? I thought we were going to get a new member of the Vision tonight, but we did not. Seth Rollins, he used the Rolex to win. Stupid finish for what was a good match. I'm really I don't see an end in sight with the Seth Rollins situation because I think he's holding that belt till Mania. And I really hope he doesn't, but it feels like he is.
The one thing we bring up, Jacob, let's get your idea. Just real quick, your opinion. Stephanie Vakir put the world title on and held up the crown jewel belt. Seth Rollins did it in reverse. And we said wearing the championship belt and holding up the one-day title was more important.
I also heard him talking to her, and I don't know what he said, but I think they were trying to elaborate that they're going to do Becky versus Stephanie. And if Becky takes that belt, I'm going to be pissed.
Going on? Well, no, she's still Intercontinental Champion.
I don't give a fuck.
They're going to do Becky 2 belts.
Well, we already talked about somebody 10 belts.
Yep.
If you notice,
multiple belts, no crown.
Hey, all the other 9 are bigger than the TBS title. Size-wise, they're all bigger.
So embarrassing. I will say this though, AEW still sucks, but Samoa Joe cut a great promo against Hangman Page. And it really just solidifies that they really should have never taken that belt off Joe in the first place.
And speaking of that, I'm glad
you will never find me complaining about the king of all media.
And I'm glad that you bring it up because you know what the funny part is? What were the 2 companies Joe worked for before he went to AEW? TNA and WWE. And Tuesday night, you had all 3 of them on TV. You had NXT, TNA, and AEW. So Tony Khan, for once, booked Samoa Joe to start a show against the 2 companies he used to work for.
I mean, that's smart. That's something I would have done.
I'm saying,
I love
once he at least did it right.
You'll never have me say anything bad about Samoa Joseph.
He's a fucking treasure, and I really wish he was in a better situation. But
I think he's helping. I
really wish he would win that belt because he's like.
I really think that he's helping Hook. I think Hook's going to be a big deal at some point.
Yeah, I can't. I don't.
He needs to bulk up. He needs to bulk up, dude. No. I'm
not a fan of his in-ring attire. To be fair, but
I will say this though: the AEW tag team division is getting better.
Oh, you like? Do you like Clone?
I like Clone. I like it. The
Clone?
fucking I like Jet Speed. Yeah, that's the best tag team name ever. Jet Speed.
Sorry.
It's beautiful. What else do we got? A fucking what's the one team? Swish.
I like Brodito. I do like Brodito.
Brodito.
I do like Brodito.
Tag champs.
I do like Brodito, and I love the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, they hurt people. I said they hurt people.
Who's Matt Riddle facing?
Jail time soon.
If he shows up.
Yeah, if he shows up. Oh, PC. Oh, god damn it. That's gonna be a match. Oh, I was about to say, I'm like, Kurt Angle's not wrestling on that show, right? I'm like, no fucking way. Andrade versus Donovan Dijak. Wow. Okay. Hey, honestly, Dijak and Baron Corbin are a tag team now in MLW, and it's not a bad pairing.
I like Dijak. I've always liked Dijak. I like Baron Corbin. I'd love to sit down.
Dude, check out. They're the tag team champions in MLW right now. Not a bad pairing.
Make it happen, Gerard.
Oh man, so it's definitely been a crown jewel, huh? Wait, so I don't get it. If they have the crown jewel belts, are they going to keep holding those belts, or do they go back?
No, they get the ring. They get the ring.
All of you Marks have been listening to the Marks Podcast on YouTube.